You just checked your phone, maybe 30 seconds ago, maybe while reading this sentence. You didn't decide to. Your hand just moved. And here's the strange part. The urge you just felt is not new. It is not a flaw in your willpower. It is not something wrong with your generation. It is 200,000 years old, and it lives in the oldest parts of your brain. Picture a person on the savannah, 60,000 years ago. She hears a rustle in the grass. She stops everything. Her heart rate spikes. Her eyes dart toward the sound. This is not anxiety. This is architecture. Her brain evolved to treat any new signal as potentially urgent, because in her world, the cost of ignoring a real threat was death, and the cost of checking a false alarm was a few wasted seconds. That math built a brain wired to check. Constantly, instinctively, without permission from the rational mind. Now fast forward. The rustle in the grass has been replaced by a small glass rectangle in your pocket. But the circuitry underneath is identical. Every notification is a rustle. Every red dot is a shape moving in the grass. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of you that plans and reasons, is not the part answering that signal. Something older is answering it. Something that doesn't ask permission. Why would it? It never had to. Here is where the story gets stranger. In the 1950s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran an experiment with pigeons. He gave one group of pigeons food every time they pressed a lever. Predictable, reliable, boring. He gave a second group food at random intervals. Sometimes the lever worked, sometimes it didn't. No pattern. And something unexpected happened. The pigeons on the random schedule pressed the lever far more often, far more compulsively, than the pigeons who always got rewarded. Unpredictability didn't discourage them. It hooked them. That single finding, buried in a mid-century psychology lab, quietly became one of the most important discoveries about behavior science has ever made. Skinner called it a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. You might know it by a different name. It is the exact mechanism behind slot machines, and it is the exact mechanism behind your phone. Think about it. You don't check your phone because you know something good is waiting. You check it because you don't know. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's something wonderful. That uncertainty is not an accident of design. It is the entire design. Every app that lives on your home screen was built, refined, and tested by teams who understood Skinner's pigeons better than most psychologists do. Somewhere in the ancient wiring built for a rustling savanna, they found a lever, and they built a machine that pulls it for you, automatically, hundreds of times a day. But the story has a second layer, and this one is even older than Skinner. It reaches back to something anthropologist Robin Dunbar spent decades studying. Dunbar noticed that primates who live in larger social groups have larger neocortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex thought. He proposed that the human brain didn't grow big to build tools or throw spears. It grew big to track relationships. Who is allied with whom? Who owes a favor? Who might betray you? For most of human history, survival depended less on physical strength and more on social intelligence. Being cut off from the group wasn't an inconvenience. It was often a death sentence. That is why your brain treats social information as urgent. Not interesting. Urgent. A notification that someone commented on your photo, or texted you back, or mentioned your name, lights up the exact neural machinery that once tracked tribal alliances around a fire. Your phone didn't invent your need to know what other people think of you. It simply plugged directly into wiring that was already there, waiting for 200,000 years. There's a third piece to this puzzle, and it comes from a researcher named John Cacioppo, who spent much of his career studying loneliness. Cacioppo found something counterintuitive. Loneliness doesn't just feel bad. It functions like physical pain. It activates similar regions of the brain. And just like pain evolved to protect the body from injury, loneliness evolved to protect early humans from the far greater danger of social isolation. A lone human on the ancestral plane was a vulnerable human. No group meant no protection, no shared food, no early warning system for predators. So the brain built an alarm. When you feel disconnected, even for a few minutes, that ancient alarm quietly switches on. And what is the fastest way to silence it? Reach for the device that promises constant, endless, ambient connection. So 3 separate forces are pulling on you every single day. An alertness system built for predators, now firing at notifications. A reward system built by pigeons and perfected by app designers, now firing at unpredictable pings. And a social alarm system